Hey there, everybody. It's the midweek edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, the 13th day of February 2019. Still saying 2018. We're 6 weeks into the new year. I don't write many checks these days, but if I wrote a lot of checks, I'm sure I'd still be writing 2018 a lot. Anyway, a wintry day today, that's for sure. The wind was a story, the snow showers and squalls were a story, and the falling temperatures were a story as well. All went according to plan today, and our peak wind gust occurred actually very early in the day today. It may have been a little hard to sleep for a lot of us last night. I know my windows were trying to rattle for a lot of the night, and at 1:38 at the airport in Vienna, we hit a peak wind gust of 44 miles per hour, but we flirted with 35 to 40 or so just about all day today, so a very, very blustery day. In fact, here's a look at the wind gusts at the top of each hour, and yeah, that's the zone we were in for a lot of the day today. Thankfully, the wind is starting to calm down this evening. That process will continue overnight tonight and it won't be nearly as windy tomorrow. We had some legit whiteouts this morning, and I talked about this on my videos yesterday in my social media posts as well, that conditions will be very changeable today, and we saw that come to fruition this morning. This time lapse is from 224 Market Street in Boardman. We had whiteouts here right after daybreak this morning. Some snow showers around, then a break. Then you're going to see coming up here in just a second the visibility go down to almost nothing for a few minutes anyway. And then we had kind of some snow globe action for a little while after that. So this made for some real tricky conditions for a time this morning. Just classic whiteouts where the visibility almost is zero. Almost, you know, in some of these harder whiteouts, you could probably almost not even see past the front of your car. That's how bad it was early on this morning. Thankfully, this afternoon we didn't see too much of that kind of snow shower activity. It was pretty much just flurries from early to mid-afternoon on, and we're seeing those fading away this evening. We still have some residual business from our rain earlier on this week. Still some active flood warnings in the usual spots in southwestern Trumbull County. This includes Eagle Creek, and at Failings Station at 6 o'clock, the creek was at 12.16 feet, right in the middle of minor flood stage. It will recede tonight, and the same idea for the Mahoning River at Leavittsburg. The latest reading, 11.29 feet at 5:15 p.m., cresting right around now, and then starting to recede tonight and into tomorrow. Most of the action tonight is out west, and what else is new? I mean, the west is just getting hammered, and they're going to continue to get hammered in the coming days and even weeks, probably, with some very, very active weather. Look at the snowpack out here. You know, my scale only goes up to 48 inches. It needs to be almost twice that at least for some of these high mountain peaks in California, along the Sierra Nevada mountain range, up along the Sierras, and up into the Cascades in Oregon and into Washington, and then the Bitterroot Range and the Central Rockies. All these mountain peaks just have tons and tons of snow. There's even been problems of snow at lower elevations as well. I mean, you've seen probably the reports from Seattle. They've had their snowiest month in something like 50 years in Seattle. Back here, we did have our snow earlier on today, but we're going to get a break from snow shower activity for a while. I think our flurries fade away tonight, and tomorrow is going to turn out to be a pretty cloudy day, but that will not stop the temperature from rising pretty nicely thanks to this warm front. After a start in the mid or lower 20s, we'll end up in the mid 40s by the end of the day. Showers will hold off until after dark tomorrow night, and then showers here and there tomorrow night and first thing Friday morning. I think the rest of Friday's dry, but it's going to be one of those backwards days in the wake of this next relatively strong cold front where temperatures fall from our morning highs, despite maybe a little bit of afternoon sun. We'll see some sunny breaks on Saturday as this system misses us to the south. Still looking at the late weekend situation, and the models have definitely trended down with the potential for any accumulating snow with Sunday's system. The European basically has nothing. The latest run of the GFS has come down. Now, the GFS ensemble still suggests there could be some minor snow accumulation Sunday into Sunday night, but this is trending in the wrong direction if you're wishing for some late weekend snow. I put this on social media earlier. This is the 8 to 14 day outlook put out by the Climate Prediction Center. And I think what you'll see in subsequent versions of this map over the next couple of days, these oranges and reds are going to come north. The blues here are going to get trimmed back. This looks like a pretty mild pattern, I think, in the 8 to 14 day period. And this will be the third year in a row that this same general time frame, roughly February 19th or 20th through about February 25th, 26th, that week has been warm the last 2 years. This year probably is not going to be as warm as it has been. The last 2 years, we've had highs in the 70s occasionally during that kind of third week of February. I don't think we're going to see that this year, but I do think it'll be pretty mild by mid-February standards during that same time frame. What about the longer range? It's Thursday night, so we have a fresh update from the European long-range modeling here, and it shows that there's the southeast ridge flexing its muscles some in about 8 to 14 days. And then at the very end of February and into March, that southeast ridge probably does weaken some and allows the cold to spill east for the first few days of March. How long does that stick around? The jury's still out on that, but overall, a lot of the modeling in March is showing warm anomalies for a lot of Canada and perhaps into New England, with a lot of the cold maybe out here. That would suggest that we're somewhere in between, and a very early stab at the ideas for March would suggest it will not be as cold as it has been the last 2 years. Remember, March has been colder than February each of the last 2 years. If the current modeling is to be believed, and certainly just the law of averages would suggest that it will not be like that again this year. So I'm hopeful, I'm relatively optimistic at this early stage, that we'll have a little more of a normal transition from winter to spring, unlike the last couple of years, and especially last year, where it was cold and damp throughout a lot of March and April, and then bam, summer started in early May and just kicked in right away. A little more of a gradual kind of typical transition should occur this year. That would be a welcome sight for a lot of us. I enjoyed the warmth in February the last couple of years, but March and April, especially last year, I did not appreciate the fact that we were still bundled up and things were not blooming in earnest until the very end of April and into early May. All right, that's it for tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you back here tomorrow evening.